Welcome to StopFake, the place where we debunk disinformation and set the record straight on fakes about Ukraine. I'm Marko Suprun, and this week's dissections include: Ukraine does not want to claim its POWs from occupied territories, Ukrainian soldiers wearing Russian uniforms spotted in Donbas, and the UN condemns persecution of Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Details ahead. Kyiv is not interested in freeing Ukrainian citizens who were taken prisoner by the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics. This claim has become a favorite trope of Russian and their satellite propagandist media. On June 19, the so-called Justice Ministry of the DNR again declared that official Kyiv does not intend to free those captives and has once again thwarted the exchange of prisoners. Pro-Russian militants claim a prisoner exchange was planned for June 27, but the Ukrainian side stopped the meeting with them. Now, Russian media regularly produce distorted and fake stories claiming Kyiv is stalling or disrupting prisoner exchanges. After a May 2018 meeting of the Ukraine OSCE Russia contact group in Minsk, Russian media disseminated fake stories claiming Ukraine's authorities did not want a prisoner exchange. The contact group was formed in 2014, whose aim is to resolve the conflict in eastern Ukraine. During a June meeting of the contact group, Ukraine reiterated that Kyiv is waiting for an exchange of prisoners with the militants. Darina Oliver, the spokeswoman for the Ukrainian side, said Ukraine was ready for compromises. According to Ukrainian MP Irina Herashenko, who represents Ukraine in a contact group humanitarian subcommittee, the issue of prisoner and hostage exchange is a burning one for Ukraine. In an interview with Ukrainian television station Channel 5 on June 17, Ukraine's Foreign Minister Pavlo Klimkin said he hoped the next prisoner exchange would take place sometime during the World Cup, which is currently being played out in Russia. Moscow might agree to such an exchange as it would create a positive image for Russia in the eyes of its Western partners, but such a gesture would not be one of goodwill and simply more of the Kremlin's political manipulation, Klimkin said. Several Russian media featured stories this week claiming that Ukrainian armed forces wearing Russian military uniforms were spotted on the contact line between Ukraine and the occupied eastern Donbas territories. The source for this claim is Andrei Morochko, a representative of the so-called Luhansk People's Republic, who says local residents told him that on June 9 and 10, a group of servicemen from Ukraine's Special Forces units wearing Russian uniforms arrived in Shastya, a small frontline town some 24 kilometers north of Luhansk. The pro-Kremlin monarchist site Tsargrad warned, "Look out, another bloody provocation on the eve of the World Cup." No sooner did this fake story make the rounds and expose the alleged nefarious plans of the Ukrainian military, the intelligence services of the so-called Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics saved the day. Thanks to the intelligence work of the Luhansk People's Republic, the provocation was prevented. As Kyiv's plan was exposed, we can assume that it was a failure, the separatist site Slovodel declared. To illustrate this fake, the Russian site Vesti used a photograph showing Ukrainian special forces entering a building. Identifying signs or buildings were completely cropped from this photograph. Nevertheless, it was used to illustrate Morochko's claims. StopFake was able to ascertain that the photo is actually a screenshot from a news video report showing Ukrainian commandos conducting a search in Kyiv on October 7, 2015. Meanwhile, Ukrainian media has reported that Russian Spetsnaz uniforms were given to Russian proxy militants as part of humanitarian aid from Russia. Last week, pro-Kremlin publications Ukraina.ru, News24 UA, and Rambler all featured stories claiming there is a religious conflict in Ukraine and the United Nations condemned the persecution of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. According to Ukraina.ru, the condemnation allegedly took place during the 38th UN Human Rights Council session currently taking place in Geneva. The publication cites an obscure expert named Daniil Glumov and Maxim Vilkov, the coordinator of something called the Information Group on Crimes Against the Person, who claim that nationalist forces in Ukraine are using historic conflicts to foment religious confrontation, and that the Ukrainian churches, both Orthodox and Catholic, who do not pay fealty to Moscow, are stoking religious conflicts in the country. Now, there were in fact no such statements coming out of this year's UN Human Rights Council session. Not only were there no official statements on this issue, the issue was not raised anywhere on the Council's 3-week agenda. However, UN sessions are usually accompanied by informal meetings and side events, and it was under this side rubric that on June 20th, Russia's permanent UN mission and the Kremlin's Russian Peace Foundation featured a 90-minute discussion entitled "Radicalism as a Factor of the Growth of Religious Intolerance and the Persecution on the Basis of Religion." Vilkov and Glumov were the featured speakers at this side event. This fake story also features a claim that the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchy has the largest number of faithful in Ukraine. Well, according to a 2016 poll conducted by the respected Kyiv International Institute of Sociology, 46% said they belonged to the Kyiv Patriarchy, 13% were faithful to the Moscow Patriarchy, and 6% said they were Ukrainian Greek Catholics. That's it for this week. Be vigilant. Don't consume fakes. If you spot any disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for a truth autopsy. You can find more fake stories debunked, as well as useful tools for spotting mendacity in the media on our website, stopfake.org. I'm Marko Suprun, and this is StopFake. Thanks for watching.